It's the Al Travis Show, and I tell you, we're always lucky to have him. He's Jerry Groskreutz, our farmer extraordinaire. Probably no more honest saying than that. We're lucky to have him here this week. Jerry, I am so mad at you. It's not even funny. Thanks for being here.
What did I do?
Well, you're just kind of a knucklehead when it comes to your health. And you had a health scare, and I think we need to talk about it, because I think this isn't just for you. But how I'm not on your to-call list is beyond me. But let's go ahead. What happened to you this weekend?
Well, I got the VIP treatment at the Heart Hospital at Abbott Northwestern.
All right. And they did take care of you. Let's not give up the punchline on this. But I want to go back, because I was chatting with you about this yesterday. And I want farmers, I want people to hear how gentlemen screw this all up. And you're lucky you didn't really screw it up. You had a heart issue, 20, 25 years ago? Tell us what happened. Give me the story of your first heart issue.
20 years ago, I was having symptoms, and I was ignoring them. I ignored them for days and days.
And what were the symptoms, Jerry, and how did you know you're having them? I mean, give us the background. What were you doing when you figured out you were having symptoms?
Well, it was Memorial Day weekend coming up, and it'd been a rainy spring, so we didn't have all the beans planted yet. Got back in the field, and I had an 8-row planter at the time, and it took 15 50-pound bags of beans to fill that 8-row planter. Well, the beans are not getting in the ground when you're piddling around on the end, filling the planter. And this was long before the seed tenders and all that stuff. So the faster you got those beans in the planter, you could get back to planting again. And after I filled that planter, I was so miserable. I wasn't sure I could keep going.
How old were you at that time, Jerry?
That's part of the reason I was denying it, because I was 49 years old.
Not even 50 yet. Okay, so you're out, you throw 15 50-pound bags of seed in there, and you get rolling, but you're having chest problems, or was it muscle pulls?
It was a terrible pain in my stomach. This sounds kind of gross, but it felt like you had to burp and you couldn't. And a terrible pain right between the shoulder blades in my back. But guess what? After I powered through and just sat in the cab for a couple rounds, I felt fine.
Oh, that's probably doctor recommended. Okay, got that problem jumping a cab.
If I take it easy, I'm okay. Sure. If I work too hard, I feel terrible. And this went on for a number of days, literally on the back 40.
Okay.
So I think deep down, I knew something was wrong, but I'm not even 50 years old yet. I'm not the person that you would look at and say they look like they're coronary waiting to happen.
No, you're in good shape, but now let's go with this. You're not quite 50 yet. Was the pain a bothersome pain, or was it like, ow, and you just knew it? I mean, were you fighting the idea that you knew that this was more than it was?
Pretty much fighting the idea that, and then it really got bad those last 3 or 4 days, and it was a Wednesday morning, and it had rained. And I was in the studio, and I think deep down I knew something was desperately wrong, but man, especially farmers, I mentioned something to my office manager, Paul, and he said, probably a 99% chance it's nothing, Jerry, but why don't you go to the doctor? Well, Missy up front overheard it. Mm-hmm. And this is a classic example of maybe sometimes men need a kick in the you-know-where.
That's what this is about.
This is your wife.
Okay.
And Missy got in my face and said, do you mean to say you've been having symptoms for 3 days and you haven't gone to a doctor? She dialed the clinic number and handed me the phone.
Okay.
And I go right up to the clinic. I called and they could get me in 20 minutes. Can you be here by then? And I'm going, you don't get a doctor appointment in 20 minutes. But I told them what my symptoms were. I get to the clinic and the waiting room was full. I barely get sat down and I get called in. Well, I talked to Florence, Dr. Merrill's nurse, and afterwards it said, I knew Dr. Merrill was going to spend less than 1 minute with you. He was going to want a chest x-ray, an EKG, and a blood test, and I didn't like what I was hearing. All at once, nobody will leave me alone. I get the blood drawn. I go to the EKG. Apparently the EKG, it goes up and then it kind of
jiggles up and down.
Mine went as far below the line as it did above. And I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Florence came to pick me up from the chest x-ray. And she said, Dr. Merrill is with the patient. He'll be done in just a couple minutes. You wait here in the waiting room. And then she screamed at me, don't you leave. Few months before, case just like mine, husband comes in, wife brings him in, thought the tests were all done, so he went home. All at once, they can't find him. They're frantically calling. He died on the way back to the hospital. So
Wow.
to make sure I wasn't going to leave.
Yeah.
I get called in. I'm not connecting the docs. Dr. Merrill throws a file on the table and he said, your EKG doesn't look good. You need to see a cardiologist. I'm not connecting the dots. I go, well, sometime later this week, because I got a live broadcast this afternoon. He goes, no, Dr. Nelson, the cardiologist from Abbott, happened to be here today. You know, they send some out for
Yeah.
follow-up. And he said, I showed him your EKG. He wants to talk to you. Then you're going to Abbott ASAP. Don't you get out of that chair.
Wow.
That got my attention.
So they take you to Abbott, and what did they end up doing for you? I mean, you're here 20 years later, so.
Well, this was on a Wednesday, and because I wasn't having a heart attack, they scheduled the angiogram for the next morning.
Okay.
They came to get me. Louise and daughter Laura were there, and Abbott had just built a brand new heart hospital, all private rooms. Back in the day, if you wanted to go to the restroom, they had to come and disconnect all the wires, all those wires went into a little remote control that they put in your gown so they could see everything no matter where you went.
Gotcha.
Well, they came to get me, and they said, just relax. Told Louise, it could take 2, 3, 4 hours, so just relax. We'll take good care of them. Their pager went off in less than a half hour. So they go up to the nurse, take him to the conference room. They were planning my funeral because they couldn't have gotten a stent done this fast. He died or he's going to die. Cardiologist came back in. The widowmaker was 90% blocked. Every other artery was perfect. They put a big long stent in, sent me home the next day with a clean bill of health and no heart damage.
And there we go. And that's where we're going to pause this story, because you'd think you'd go through something like that and their doctor's planning your funeral. You'd think you'd become a smarter man. But then you meet a Jerry Groskreutz, and we'll talk about what happened here. I'm making fun. We'll be back after this with more. It's the Al Travis Show. I'm not thrilled with my buddy Jerry. Not at all. When I find out what happened, when you find out what happens next, you'll be with me on this. This is, folks, what is it? A smart man learns from his mistakes. A genius learns from others. Let's all get genius here and learn from Jerry Groskreutz. More right after this. All right, we've got him, Jerry Groskreutz. I'm verbally beating him up here, and I love the guy, and I was just mad about what happened this week. So, 25 years ago, you go through all this. You have a 95% or 90% block, and they put a stent in, and they send you home. And obviously, they did a great job. You're not ripping Abbott at all, right?
No, not. They saved my life now twice, Al.
Well, this is the point. So they tell you what's going on. I presume they said, hey, don't go 3-4 days again, knucklehead. If these are hurting, get in. I would presume they sent that home with you, and you forgot about it. Now tell us what happened last week, because this is where people, us men especially, we're idiots when it comes to this stuff. What happened to you this week, Jerry?
So remember, we were talking early in the week after we'd got that wet, heavy, or a bunch of snow. Yeah. I'd gone out to the farm, and Cousin Chad normally blows the driveway. Well, there's nothing on this longer driveway, but there was a bunch up on the yard.
Yep.
So I hit that with the car, and I got stuck. So I walked 100 feet to the house, got my warm clothes on, went down to the shed to plug the tractor in to get the car out. And I go, uh-oh. My chest was tight from one side to the other, a little bit in my back, and I got a little bit nauseous and a little bit like sweaty. Sat down in the car and rested for a few minutes. I felt fine. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't know about this. Well, then Wednesday last week, I was up.
No way. You finished doing the snow plow and you got up and did that, right? Yeah, don't pass this. You went out and, okay, warning sign 1 he missed. Go ahead.
Then I walked across the 8th floor of the parking ramp in downtown Minneapolis to the Hilton to go to the fertilizer pesticide short course. It came back again, and I slowed down. So I called Louise, my wife, the retired nurse,
Mm-hmm.
said something. I didn't delay it for days, Al. I only delayed it for a day or two.
A day or two. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because these heart attacks don't happen very quickly. That's no. What are you talking? Okay. Only 2 days. I'll give you that. Wife said, "Get yourself to the hospital." Was that one?
I was then on my way home, and she'd already got me a doctor appointment. My regular family doctor who had been taking care of me the last 20 years because there was no reason
Mm-hmm.
thought of. Well, she couldn't get an appointment till Friday, but and I was telling this, I said, well, because I think something might be going on. By the time I got home, she called daughter Laura at work. She left work early, was on her way to Abbott, and son-in-law, who was working at a site in San Francisco, got done early, caught an earlier flight home. They were there to pick me up to take me to Abbott.
All right. So you get to Abbott, and
So first, you got to have a little humor. We were going down Cedar. We live right
mm-hmm.
off
Yep.
of Cedar in Lakeville, all the way to downtown Minneapolis, like 26th Street, because that's one of his clients too, with the
Yep.
radiation machine. So he knew we drive by this great big cemetery. And I'm still not so sure we could be going because, it's a man thing, a farmer
I
thing. You
get it.
don't want to be silly and there's nothing wrong and we're men, we fix this. And he goes, we're taking you in to get checked out so we don't have to take you over there to
There
the
you go. So you go in, and how quickly did they assess you had an issue?
uh, about a negative 5 seconds.
Okay.
By the time we'd walked from the parking lot and I walked in down the long hall around to where there's some admitted person there.
Yeah.
I said, well, I had a stint 20 years ago, got along great, but boy, just walking in here, my tight chest here in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I know, I'm getting plopped down in a wheelchair. They
There you go.
taken my coat off. They pulled me around the back. And this one nurse said, you're going to have a prick because she's going to draw blood. The other nurse grabs my shirt around the waist, pulls it up to my chin, and they're putting the EKG, the electrodes on my chest.
And then they quickly found out what, Jerry? I got about 3 more minutes.
Then then the cardiologist came in, and because this is very cool about Mayo Health System or the Align, two big health, everything was there. So they pulled up my chart, everything that ever been done. Said, well, we couldn't find that he had a stint before. And Louise goes, well, that was 20 years ago. They
Yeah.
didn't look back far enough.
Wow. And they had that in there. So they find out what, that your Widowmaker's clogged again?
No, the EKG quote didn't look normal. And normally they would do the electrocardiogram or whatever it is, and the hear sound and the stress test and all that. Your EKG doesn't look normal. Given your history, we're going to admit you and do an angiogram, see what's going on.
And what they find, Jerry, you got to get me to the end of this.
It was worse than the last time. The Widowmaker was 95% blocked. And I'm still here with a clean bill of health, no heart damage.
And that's okay. Thank God for all of that, Jerry, and I'm happy. But this is exactly why we need to talk. And I thank you for talking about your problems. Buddy, you went through it 20 years ago and you could have died. And here you are taking a day or two to figure it out. And thank God your wife and your kids are like, now we're going to get you in. Because I would have seen you going back, taking a rest. Jerry, 95%. At some point, we got to share this story and make sure people understand. If you got a symptom, I love the thing in the back, the chest, the feeling nauseous. People don't generally know the signs. And you're putting them out there for people.
And the other thing, Al, maybe we could talk about it more about what the staff at Abbott told me about farmers not worrying too much about themselves because they're used to taking care of other things and other people. And
yeah. And that's why we're doing this. I've got my farming guy here who just about did this because I call you knucklehead. God love you, you're still here. But this is for a reason. And I don't know what it is for us to get that news out. The guys, we should probably find out. And I know ladies have different symptoms than guys, and I don't know what those are, but I didn't know what the guys were until I talked to you yesterday.
People's systems are different. Cardiovascular disease, typically all the arteries are plugged. It's just a matter of degree. Every other artery was perfect. And I said, well, why just the Widowmaker in the car? Because you are being you.
Well, hey, fair enough.
Everybody is unique. So if something unusual is going on, go talk to your doctor.
Don't wait. I think that is absolutely the thing. Don't go sit in the car until the pain goes bye-bye, then get back in the car or get back out and do what you're doing. Jerry, I'm out of time, but I got to say thank you. We didn't talk a lot of farming, but I think this could help a lot of farmers, a lot of the guys out in the world. You got lucky, Jerry, and I'm glad you're still here. I really am.
The good Lord decided it wasn't my time, and maybe I'm supposed to do something here, like maybe do this, spread the word to get farmers.
See, I think there's a lot to that, Jerry. I really do. There's a reason you were spared, and I'm glad. I'm glad for you, of your family. And I thank you for taking time to share that with the folks listening to this show. Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate you a ton.
My mission is to give Al grief.
Well, you've been doing that pretty well for the last 3-4 years. Jerry Groskreutz, our farmer extraordinaire. We'll get him back next week. We'll talk more farming. Get it checked out, folks. If you're not feeling well, find out why. More after this.